Yes, now, bless now. Don't forget the rest now. Des signing in. Yo, I checked out a new record. I'm just getting the Wikipedia up so I can refer to some particular elements of the record. I got requested to listen to Soundgarden. Alright. I'd never listened to Soundgarden before in my life, but one of my Patreon subscribers gave me a heads up, gave me a request. I want to listen to Soundgarden. You should check out Super Unknown, is it? Now let me say something here. I didn't jump into Super Unknown. I was going to give him a little more than he asked for, and I thought I'll also do the very first record they did, because I like to see the foundations, the roots of these bands. So I put on ULTRAMEGA OK, and I've listened to it in its entirety. It's an interesting record. I listened to it, the remaster that was put out by Sub Pop in 2017, although I didn't listen to the additional numbers. I didn't listen to the old recordings of these songs. It just didn't make much sense for me to do. So I checked it out. Overall, I didn't think it was incredible. So I'm looking forward to see where the band progresses into their later records, as I will be jumping a couple of records to get to Super Unknown next. But, you know, there was a couple of elements in here. Definitely a little bit Sabbathy at times, which wasn't pronounced to the degree where they wanted to be a stonery, doomy, overt metal band. But the Ozzy Osbourne, I found, crept out a lot in the vocal line. As we were listening to certain elements of the record, certain passages and sections, riff-wise, not necessarily too doomy at all, in all fairness. Some people referred it to that. I just sort of saw it as like a rock band, just like a little bit slower tempo at times. Quite unique in the sense that each and every song brought forward a different idea, a different, sonic construct and concept. So each and every song was a little bit different. If you didn't like the last song, you might like the one coming up, and so on and so forth. I like the faster tempo numbers, to be fair. The slower ones wasn't necessarily for me as much as two of these songs, which I think was, let's have a quick look. I enjoyed Circle of Power, which I think was my favourite song, and Head Injury. I think it was Head Injury, which were more punkier numbers, at least in the drums. Whilst looking at the background information of this record, there was reference of hardcore punk once or twice. I can see it bleed through ever so slightly from time to time, but overall, I don't think it was that big an influence. SST Records put this out, which I thought was quite interesting, and there we go. That was it, really. I wish I would have more to say, in all fairness. I didn't think this was the greatest record. Chris Cornell is a name I've heard from time to time. Never looked into him. I know he passed, unfortunately, not so long back, and a lot of people really, really love this dude. So I'm looking forward to hearing his works as we continue on progressing and maturing into the band's discography. I am really, really hoping that there's a progression in sound from here on, a more mature, hookier element that they infuse within the band's sound, because as of this listen through, it wasn't so special. And we had the filler track 665, 667, and of course we had a bit of novelty at the end with 1 minute of silence. If we threw 1 minute of silence on at the end of Incessant Mace, which was the last track anyway, and just had it as, static to finish the record, that'd make more sense. But to give it its own title track and sort of talk about it being a homage to John Lennon and stuff like that, I can't stand novelty when it comes to music. It's just not for me whatsoever, so that's a turn off to me. I don't like jokey sort of... not that I don't like it, but I think it detracts from the artistry, the actual craft, and the actual decent, work and investment these people have put into the product. That's what I think. So anyway, we're going to continue moving onwards. As far as my rating, Yeah, I'll be controversial with this one because I know people love Soundgarden and I've been recommending this band for a reason, but I was recommending Super Unknown, which I'm going to get onto next. I'm going to give this record 3 out of 10, personally. That's what I'm going to give it. Without further ado, I'm signing out, people.